Covenant of the Shimmering Plume, Chapter 1. Mortals often think they can shape their destiny, unaware that with each action they fall perfectly into the greater scheme. Mundane, plain, dull, and repetitive. There must be something more to this existence. I am Utrecht Volnord, born into a servant family of a noble house in Kyssel, in the Grand Duchy of Talabecland. My father always said that loyalty is its own reward. Pitiful, really. He and mother both servants of a noble house, perfectly humble, perfectly sworn to their lord, and in service for their whole lives, always neatly in line, always according to conventions or protocol in everything they ever did. Thus, when I was born, they saw that I take the same steps in life, the same mediocrity, the same monochrome view on everything in life, world and fate. But I knew, I felt something was different. As if the great spark of life is meant for subservient fools. The very thought of that makes me sick. To squander the opportunities, to not seek greatness, to find satisfaction with the unremarkable. I've spent my adolescent years adhering to their will, but I always felt destined for things far greater than the lives of father and mother led. Nonetheless, they provided me with a proper upbringing, schooled both in books and combat, as to pair a sound mind with a sturdy body, for which I am grateful, of course, but the purpose of this being for a life dedicated to servitude unnerved me, even in my younger years. In rebellion, my juvenile spirit led me to use every free minute, every moment of respite between studies and trainings, to slip away and focus on understanding the reality that surrounds me, observing nature, wild beasts fighting for survival, studying books on the nature of the esoteric and occult, spying on the initiates of the Imperial College of Magic. Hunger for knowledge led me beneath the creaking floorboards, to the damp stone bowels of the cellar. There, I created my makeshift study, cobbled together more from need than design. Crates and broken furniture repurposed into shelves, creaking under the weight of ink-stained scrolls in jars of questionable ingredients, and fluids sealed with wax. In the center stood a shabby desk with books strewn about, all lit with a single iron candelabrum. It is there I spent most of my time studying the esoterics, alchemy, and every other profound truth this world can offer. I will unravel the secrets of this world and prove that serfdom is not a fate settled in stone. I will break these chains that my father and his father before him gladly wore. I will become something more than just another name in the town hall's registry. I will achieve greatness. And with that proclamation, my studies began, and the goal took root in my heart. With these very hands overcome destiny and challenge the established order of this world. With passion aflame, I dedicated time for both the regular, duly prescribed studies and the clandestine. I rarely took interest in the courtly affairs, helping only when mother and father needed it. I did not shy away from them. On the contrary, I used them as a way to further my knowledge of the world, and to take note of other individuals that may share my views, or rather detest, for the plain and the ordinary. I got used to running errands quite quickly, as father, as a part of the Lord's entourage, frequently traveled. Being a part of a rather small force to keep order in the region and cool both beasts and wild tribesmen that raided these lands, it is after one of those sad adventures that my life changed profusely. One day, father returned from one of the expeditions with his lord, and as it was common, he was gifted with spoils for his service. At least these deemed not worthy for a lord to keep. Proud of his trophy, he gathered us all in the backyard to share stories and proudly demonstrate his bounty. He told stories about raids and tribes, of heroic deeds and terrible predicaments that, only due to Sigmar's aid, they survived.
We've set against a beastman tribe that raided the neighbor province of Ostermark, my boy. The foul beasts took those on one of their unholy killing sprees.
He spat on the ground on a mere mention of the fact.
Horrible, primitive creatures with a disdain for everything our empire stands for. They live only to shed blood, pillage, and raise these disgusting pagan idols. I swear, boy, every sight of these blasphemous creatures and their rituals made my blood curdle. We could not stand by and leave them to their heresy. The Lord called, and we rode to battle. We struck them with great fury, armed with steel in hand and the divine hymns on our lips. They did not stand any chances. My Lord Commander's swift judgment made short work of the primitives. Their lack of military discipline made the ordeal all too easy. After our swift victory, we rounded up whatever was taken from the lands and took on our way back home. When we got back to the manor, our Lord congratulated us on this endeavor and gifted a share in the spoils as a token of gratitude and a sign of goodwill for the bravery and courage we demonstrated on the battlefield.
Interested, I took a look at these spoils. Petty balls, useless trinkets, only a primitive mind could see value in. At least, I thought so. But then one thing stood out and caught my sight. One thing had an eerie feel to it, as if something that should not fall into mortal hands. A strange book bound in leather, at a glance rather unremarkable and covered in dirt and filth. But I felt as if something was drawing me to this book. I've looked around and neither mother nor father noticed anything odd about it. Father, does this book, what is it?
Nothing more than gibberish. A pompous rhetoric of a man thought himself a scholar of sorts. From what I gathered, it's worth nothing, not even mentioning it. I wanted to use it to get the fire going, you see. Heat is the only thing this would be good for.
May I, then? Father took a moment to ponder my question.
Are you sure, boy? Well, there are other things.
But seeing my determination, father gave in.
If this is what you want, so be it. Take it, and be sure to remember this was taken back from the enemies of the Empire. Sigmar be praised, you will mark the day your old man served his lord with his utmost.
Of course, dear father. After a while of storytelling, father and mother went about their daily chores. As for me, the first chance I got, I took the book with me to my study and examined the contents with the utmost care. But page after page, my determination began to dwindle. How can this be? Was I wrong? Was it only my imagination? Or was it a trick played by the mind? No, it can't be. The book must hold something. I spent most of the following nights studying the contents of the book. Was Was father right? Was the book just a collection of ramblings by a long-gone scholar? Filled with nothing? No clandestine truth? No meaning to this pitiful existence? Wrong. 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 Again, I spent hours reading the collection of thoughts about the vistas of Bretonnia, the flora of the great forest of Loren, and the harsh lives of Norscan tribes across the northern wastelands. Nothing. Fates jest me. For all the treasures before me, I picked a glorified guidebook? Oh, maybe one can't escape the reality. I rest my head on a hard wooden desk and try to collect my thoughts. Child. I've turned my head gazing upon the humble cellar that served as my atelier, trying to find the source of that sound. But I saw nothing more than dust and shadows. I must have dozed off. That's probably just the wind. Child. Once again, like a whisper, a caress from the shadows. I concentrate, focus on the environment, trying to make something of it, trying to locate the calling. Fail. You must through the veil. It was quiet, blending into the background of the night, and nearly extinguished by the sound of my burning candle. But I swore it talked. The shadow spoke. Once again, I opened the pages with a fiery passion and a piercing gaze. I concentrated on its contents for the unbeknownst time. Minute after minute, hour after hour, I've studied. There must be something in those pages, I am certain. As the time flew by, so did my strength, and once again I felt my consciousness slip. You must see through the veil. I felt as something heavy rested upon my chest. My mind focused on task, but my vision was wary. I must. My vision starts to slip. I gaze upon the room and see a strange figure in the back of the cellar. Never before have I seen such a thing. A shadow of great stature, slowly drifting towards me. But with each step it shrinks. Then another step, and it grows. How is this possible? Suddenly I felt a great pain, my mind seemingly ablaze. The towering figure hunched, and its features seemed to be distorted. The shadow continued to stalk. It shrank again. How is this so? I try to fix my eyes and reassure myself of what I'm seeing. The figure stopped. Silhouette bearing avian-like head with the burning eyes of blue and gold. I felt a great weakness, like all my strength has been sapped. I can't move, and the pain in my head is overwhelming. Amusing. The figure bellowed in a deep, profound voice. You knew the value of the book, and yet you lacked the awareness of the truth, of why you saw what you did. The voice changed mid-sentence to a more melodic tone. Who are you? I am a servant and a messenger. The voice shifted yet again, to an ear-piercing screech. I threw one last glance at the book, my sanity slipping, letters fading out of my vision. Before my eyes closed, I saw them once more take form. Change is the only constant in the mortal world, enveloping a strange sigil of a sinuous flame. You who crave the real truth of this world, utter the words, and my master will unravel the tapestry of lies. I shall follow.